Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by
Mark. Andy.
And we just finished playing Escape Plan, which is a big box Vital Lacerda game. The theme here is really nice, actually. We've robbed a bank and done other various misdeeds, and now it's time to escape. The police, you've got lots of little police meeples all over the board here, are hot on our trail, and the objective of the game is to get out while getting as much of the cash that you've been stashing as possibly can. The tricky thing is that the exits gradually get blocked off. As you can see, one of the exits from the city is here. There's another one here and another one here. Incidentally, you only start off with a couple of these tiles, and gradually as you move through the game, more and more of these tiles get placed out. So to start with, because you're in the middle, you've no idea where the exits are going to be, but then they gradually appear. But as we go through the game, at the start of every round, you deal out some of these patrol cards, and potentially that's the police going to different exits. And if any exit, see this one, number 2 here, has got a card. If any exit gets 2 cards, it gets blocked off. So we sort of deal with 2 cards. That means this is now blocked exit 3. And that's blocked as exit 2, so the only available exit now is actually exit 1. So this was the only place that we could actually escape from the city. So we're trying to get cash, which you're doing by taking lots of different sorts of actions, and then, as I say, actually escape from the city. If you don't manage to escape from the city, you lose the game and get no points at all. Otherwise, it's a kind of heavy euro. So you're going to get income every round. Income is on this little track. As you put more of the cubes out, you see the income's actually going further and further down. So I'll be getting 3,000 here. Incidentally, the money is really thick cardboard tiles, which is very nice. And you can see we've been putting cubes, all these different cubes, on these different buildings. Now these things correspond to the buildings on the board. When you place a new tile, potentially put one of these buildings on it, which will correspond, this is safe house number 1, to one of the buildings here. And once it's come out, you can visit the location in order to put your cubes down, which is going to potentially get you stuff, points or money, but it does, as I say, reduce your income. So income at the start of the round, and then you're going to be taking your actions. In terms of actions you can do, typically you're going to move. So where's my figure? Oh, it's down here. So I just escaped actually. But let's say I start, you all start in the middle in the hospital here. In order to move to a different location, you kind of move one to a different type of terrain. And then from this type of terrain, I could move into this building here. This would be a store. And each of the different buildings do different things. However, the movement's quite tricky because if there are any police on a tile that you move out of, so in this case, if I'd chosen to go through this one and then out into this one, because there are 3 police on this tile, potentially they try and arrest me. So you have equipment you can purchase. In fact, that's one of the things you can do at the store is purchase equipment. But you can see this piece of gear I've purchased will let me avoid 1 black policeman. So that guy there. I could also use this, which would let me involve a red policeman. But the blue policeman is going to... I've got no way of preventing him, so he was going to do a wound to me. So you kind of track your wounds here. If you get 3 wounds, you kind of get arrested, which is fairly bad. But you're getting negative points for wounds at the end of the game. There are ways in which you can heal wounds. So that's how you move, and you go to a location and take the action. So as I say, all the buildings, the various businesses here, you have an escape plan, which is sort of secret, which shows you what you're getting for going to the different businesses and buildings. And these are different for each person. So if I go to the casino, I would get 70 points at the end of the game. So if I visit the casino, which I think, where was the casino? It's there we go, it's this one here. Then I'll be putting my cube on this spot here, and as I say, at the end of the game, that's worth 70 points to me. But if I go to the restaurant, I'll get money, and that's your income again. So then, that again, you're looking on the track here, I'd be getting 3,000 if I went to that. So there are a mixture of the different places of income and points, but ultimately it's the most points at the end wins, as long as I said before, you actually manage to get out. So that's quite a lot of different buildings on the board. Other things, you can go to the store, as I say, to buy the various bits of equipment here. You can also get some gasoline from the store, which allows you to move extra spaces, so that's quite nice. Other places you can go to would be the gangs. If you go to one of the gangs here, you can hire the gang. You pay a bit of money and you get the bikers, and then you can use the bikers to do various helpful things. So for example, you know, when I was moving out of this expensive location here, you can use your gang to kind of distract the police and then get through the location without having to deal with the police. So that's quite nice. You can also use the gangs to reduce your notoriety, and that's quite important. You have this notoriety track here. Various things you do in the game will either increase or decrease your notoriety. So if you go to a place with another player, if I were to go to the store where Mark is, then that would increase my notoriety. When we gather together, the police kind of find it easier to spot us. So you're moving up and down on this track. This determines player order, so at the end of each sort of set of actions, whoever's highest on this track goes first, but you are losing points. These are negative points at the end of the game, depending on how high you are on this notoriety track. And every time you pass one of these key lines here, everybody below you gets to move the policeman further towards wherever you are. So that's you'll find the police kind of swamp you if you go too high on the notoriety track, because everyone else is moving them towards you. You can also go to certain places to acquire these contact cards. These are quite helpful. So the medic, for example, will let you heal a wound. This guy will let you move one of the red policemen. So there's lots of extra movement type things. There's a chopper here. You can actually fly in a helicopter to a couple of different spaces. So lots of ways of altering your movement or helping you avoid the police. But most of the time you're running around trying to get the cubes out to get the points and the money, avoiding the policeman, and as I said, trying to get out at the end of the game. All right, what do we think?
I have no idea what to think. Yeah, the theme in this comes through quite well for a Euro game. I did feel like I was on the run, struggling to get around the police. I did feel like I was taking money out of businesses, which meant I was getting bulk money now, but I mean I couldn't be like drawing money out of the business later. It's unique is going to be its strongest point, because I can't think of many games that I've played like this with this, not only the theme but the whole moving around and just. It's like I don't know how to connect scoring with what I'm trying to do, even though in many ways. I know it's Eurogame. I know that the thing I need to do is get points by going to correct locations and optimising things on the board, which I guess you can think about any like other. I'm trying to think like Oracle of Delphi maybe, because she's sort of moving around in that. You're trying to optimise actions on the board maybe, but it's very different. But I think the main thing I take out is while it's very fun, it's just so different and it's very hard to compare to anything else for me.
Okay, Andy?
Yeah, sort of say second time I played it. Got the chance to play a demo of this last year. And yeah, it is very, as Mark was saying, it is very unique. There's not a huge, I don't think there's anything really else like it. And yeah, your first play is, what am I doing? It's, you try to sort of the best thing is just to try and do your escape plan card, trying to get as many points from that as possible. But the fact that you've only got there's sort of 3 rounds, and you've only really got 3 actions per round, it's really tight to try and do half of this. Trying to dodge the police. You can only move three terrain types per movement unless you've got gasoline. Mm-hmm. So trying to manage your money, get around, avoid the police. It is really tricky to plan. You really do need to plan what you're doing, I think, a few turns in advance. Because I nearly ran out of money. I did manage to escape, luckily, because I was the first one to escape. But it was potential that I would have been one of the people getting arrested rather than being escapee. But I do like it. I think it's better than some of Lacerda's previous games. I think it's better than Lisboa. I think Lisboa is too heavy for its own good, and also this looks nicer than Lisboa. But yeah, it's a nice game. I would, if its price point was lower, I'd probably buy it. But I've got a feeling retail of this is going to be like Lisboa, being 100 plus. Yeah, it's a nice game, and if you get a chance to play it, give it a go.
Rating?
It's good. I'd give this about an 8 out of 10.
Okay. Mark?
I still don't get my head around it, so I'm going to say it's going to be anywhere between 6.5 and 7.5, but I just can't. I've still got my head around it yet, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a funny one. Personally, I've really liked it, and I think the reason for that is because the theme comes through so strongly. As Mark was saying, I wasn't really bothered about how I was going to score points. I mean, obviously you're meant to maximise your points and all the rest of it, but I was like, I'm running around the city, I'll grab some cash here, and I can use this business here and hire the gangs and get them to distract the police. I just had a whale of a time running around a city trying to escape at the end. I really wasn't bothered about the points at all. But then you get to the end of that first game, you're like, I can see now where, one person scored a lot better in our game than anyone else. It's like, I see where he got the points from now. I can see how you can plan a strategy and make the most of, because you can get extra actions. So although he was saying, Andy was saying you can only get 3 actions per turn, there's various ways. Some of the contact cards and things can get you extra actions. So that's quite powerful, getting a whole extra action. So if you can use those, the notoriety track's particularly powerful. You kind of want to go up to a certain extent, but then you really need to pull down your notoriety towards the end of the game or you're going to lose a lot of points. So lots of really interesting mechanism. I haven't explained quite a few of the other things going on in the game. There is a heavy game, there's a lot going on here. But thoroughly engaged all the way through with a really strong theme for a Euro that's very unusual. So I really, really liked it. I'd be on an 8 out of 10. Alright, thanks for watching. That was Escape Plan.